Okay, this is just a quick video called Can a Low Protein Diet Be Helpful for Weight Loss? So a low protein diet that's also low in fat is a high carbohydrate diet. And this is based on some of the work of this guy right here, James Mitchell, PhD. He has a YouTube lecture. I'll put a link to it in the description below at the Buchinger Wilhelmi Clinic. And here's what he basically says. When you eat a protein-restricted diet, you have a relative shortage of availability of amino acids. There's less amino acids available for the liver to use to make glucose through gluconeogenesis. That's what the liver does when it starts running low on glycogen stores. It converts amino acids into glucose. So he says there's a secondary way that the liver can make glucose. That's the main job of the liver, is to maintain blood glucose levels during the fasting phase so that the brain always has enough glucose. So what happens is, when you break down a triglyceride, a fat, from the fat cells, the adipose tissue, the glycerol backbone, the 3-carbon, it's kind of like propane triol, the 3-carbon molecule is converted into glucose. But he says the excess fatty acids, the body really doesn't have much of a useful purpose for them, and much of them is sent to the brown fat tissue where they're burned to generate heat. And that's why you get weight loss, because you're burning an excessive amount of fat in order to free up the glycerol molecules to use them in the liver to make new glucose through gluconeogenesis. They're 3-carbon, they can work through the 3-carbon phase-like component of gluconeogenesis. So anyways, that's kind of interesting. So he also claimed that caloric restriction has been shown to increase longevity, and then protein restriction also appears to increase longevity. And if you can restrict proteins, why not just restrict one of the essential amino acids? Why not just restrict methionine? And now you've got a potential easy mechanism for increased longevity. You basically start out with something like caloric restriction, which is unpleasant. Nobody wants to starve. You do reduce the number of calories, to some extent by what you eat. You can satisfy hunger with fewer calories. But he says simply reducing protein is a way to increase longevity with a similar beneficial effect as caloric restriction. And he says, well, guess what? It's even easier if you just restrict one amino acid like methionine, and you get the same benefit. It appears to be the case in animal studies, and he thinks it'll probably apply to humans. So I thought that was interesting as well. So what he's basically saying here is protein restriction might not only help you to lose weight, it might get you to live longer from that part of the mechanism. So hope that was interesting.